Hey, the 5-minute quickie is back again. And it's all about seeking approval before you do something, or why you do something, or just seeking approval for those thumbs up, those likes, those little hearts. And what does it really mean? And then coming to the law of approval. In fact, it's called Clough's law of approval. You've got to stay to listen to that, haven't you? Because when you get Clough's law of approval, it'll become your law of approval. Okay, listen after this.
Warning.
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 Warning. You are entering into the unplugged mind of Paul Clough. Too late. Personal Development Unplugged.
So here we are, back again with you, my friend, on another 5-minute quickie. Well, I think it's going to be a 5-minute quickie this time. What I want to ask is, and I'm really asking to myself, is this going to be accepted? Is it going to be liked? Am I going to get a little love sign? Am I going to get those thumbs up floating through the air? Well, that's if it was Facebook Live. Is this thing that I'm doing, is it going to be okay? Is it okay? You see, if we have this mentality of needing approval, even before we do this, haven't we gone the wrong side of wrong? See, we often ask this when we're doing something new and creative maybe, or something new, creative or different. Will it be approved by others? And you see, I think a lot of social media has got its little bit of ownership on this, because we have, and we hear it all over the place, people are doing things just for, or checking things. How many times was it liked? How many times was it loved? But how many times have you liked or loved something because you felt you ought to? And then, I don't know. But you see, I think we need to go a little deeper on this. Even in a 5-minute quicker, go a little deeper. Because, yes, I think we need, a funny word, need sometimes. I think we need to think a little bit about how will this be received, maybe. And does it really matter? But I think it does to us personally. We take everything personally, don't we? You see, in practical terms, or NLP practical terms, we could think of one of the presuppositions. What's an NLP presupposition? Well, they're just useful assumptions that NLP is sort of based around. And one of the things is the meaning of the communication is the response that you get from it. So if you say something meaning to get this and it gets something completely different, well, you're responsible for that communication. You didn't communicate it in the right way for that person to get it. Therefore, what do you have to do? You have to learn from it. You have to be able to adapt, be flexible. You've got to review it, I guess, because if you're not reviewing it, it's just gone by. So when you review, you look for the facts, you look for things that you can learn, knowing that there is, again, another presupposition of NLP, and lots of people use it. No failure, only feedback. You just got a response. End of story. It is a response. Is it the response you wanted? Yes, no. Could it be better? Obviously, every response could be better. So when you review, you can then adapt the way you communicate again with your flexibility. The person with the most flexibility really gets the results they want. That's like a twisted part of one of the presuppositions of NLP. But that's about controlling the system. And we're not going to control the system, but we're controlling your system, I guess. But if we were to dive a little deeper, maybe this is Clough's law of approval. The PDU, Clough's law of approval. I don't know whose it is. I think I made it up. I'm sure I did. But who's accepting what? What? Yeah, who is the acceptor? You know, if you're doing something and you're looking for acceptance, to be liked, to be loved, maybe we need to start somewhere else at the acceptance level. You see, when we talk about goal setting, one of the parts that, or one of the things that we look at is this goal achievable? And is this goal realistic? Now, there are some things about realistic and achievable which are facts. You know, if you're, I don't know, say 40 and you want to win the under 18s gold medal or something, and probably, well, it's not achievable and it's not realistic. But, and there is a but to this. I don't like buts, but there is a but. And whose bar are we setting? Or who sets the bar? The bar that is the level of achievability, realistic ability. Who says so? You see, if you are looking for approval, to get those likes, to get those little hearts, the little thumbs going up in the air, aren't you letting other people be your approvers of what's realistic, what's achievable? And the trouble is, if that's what you're going to do it for, and I know, we're all going to be here saying, well, I don't do that. No. Other people may. You can fool some of the people some of the time, but you can't fool yourself. We all do it sometimes. I know some of my posts, I didn't get the response I wanted. But hey, if you're waiting for those people to line up with you, there's a little thing that says, he who waits. Yeah, that's right. It goes quiet, doesn't it? Because you wait. And what would happen if they never do line up? All because you left that bar, the achievable, realistic bar, to other people, and you just look for that law of approval. You see, I believe in the law of approval of a sort because, as I said, it's Clough's law of approval. But the law of approval comes like this. The only approval that you need, and you know what the answer is yours. Based on whose criteria? Yours. Whether you think it's achievable, whether you believe it's realistic. Doesn't matter what anybody else thinks. Whatever they think is none of your business, really. Because all you have to do, I guess, is ask the question, did I really do my best? Did I really push to do my best? Did I set the bar high enough? Maybe sometimes we set it too high. But did I set it to what I really felt was the highest level of achievability, the highest level of realism, as it were, realistic? And if you set it, because I like setting the bar, if I can, just that little bit higher than I know I can achieve. Well, I think I can achieve. Because we all know if we set it too low, yeah, we get our successes of a sort, but you can't fool yourself, can you? But if you set it, see, I work on the principle that if I set it at 100%, I know whatever happens, I'm going to get 80%. And maybe 100% is never be perfect. Therefore, but if I set it for that, I know I'm going to get as close as damn possible. Because I've now got my focus of attention, my focus on where I want to be, focus where that bar is. And because I've set it just above my limits, maybe my learning limits, my performance limits, my whatever limits, but realistically, could be achievable, couldn't it? Because it's just within grasp. And when it's just within grasp, that means it's graspable. Therefore, you can grasp it, but you have to stretch. Going into these metaphors, aren't we? And we all know what happens when we stretch. We get that little bit more flexible. We get that little bit better each time. And then maybe you ask yourself, well, yeah, I know I did my best. And if you didn't, and you go, well, actually, I didn't, you're going to do exactly what the next thing says, is we're going to learn how do we do it better. But if we did do our best, same question, what can I do? What can I learn to do this better the next time? Well, if I adapt, if I review, and I'm flexible in my review, and I adapt, and I muse, that lovely word of musing, what's going to happen? well, that bar's going to get a little higher. It's going to get, still, we're going to achieve the stuff that we thought was probably not possible for us. But not believe it, but we just thought that. But we pushed ourselves to a limit where we maybe wasn't possible or didn't think was possible, but it's always possible. Because we always just bring it down sometimes. That's a big generalization, Cluffy, but we do a little bit, don't we? To make success a little bit easier. But when we set that bar just in touching distance, where we have to push ourselves to be our best, then we can actually do the next level up. So basically the law of approval, Cluffy's law of approval is the approval comes from you. Do it for you. No loves, no likes, other than if you were to say, this is good, I like it. This is good, I love it. And I also love and like that I could do better. Because you also got to remember, and this is what I forget sometimes, is you know what? Some people just won't get it. They just won't get it. And you have to be at peace with that. Because other people, some people, are just not on that same wavelength. They're not on that same vibration as you. Now, I know you and I are. Hence, we're having this conversation. And I know deep down these little things are just going into those neural pathways. And your synaptic gaps are starting to fire with your imagination. Thinking, I'm going to guess, you've thought, I had a couple of memories come up. And you've noticed how high that bar was set and noticed maybe, like myself, I hadn't set it high enough. And I do know in my heart that I could have achieved a better result. And with that better result, I would grow even more. We've talked about that level of or the surface of ignorance. Funny enough, without linking these, they're all blooming linked, these episodes, I guess. But there's so much we've got here. You see, this thing about, wanting likes and loves. I mean, I could, if I wanted to be adapting and be flexible, I could just stop now and go, do you know what? Have you shared this podcast? Have you? Well, why don't you just stop now and do it? Do it now, very quickly. Share, boom, 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 all my contacts. Everyone on your phone, everyone on your email list. And go, Cluffy's going to give me his approval. Because it's Cluffy's law. Where did I go there? But anyway, that is sort of being flexible and very adaptive and things like that. We might have to review and muse about that one, won't we? But here's the thing. I just want you to exceed. I want you to be liked by yourself. Be loved by yourself. Because when you are, Cluffy's law of approval says, the people you want in your life to like and love you, well, they will. And they'll see you as someone who means to live their life to the highest possible degree, setting that bar and getting the results. And when you get the results, you're being the change you want to be, because we do really deep down, don't we? But it also will be the change we want to see in others. So I know it's an old expression, but be the change you want to see in others. Because if you're it, basically you're living the life the way you want it, but other people will get it. That's when they get it. Those people around you that are with you just get it. They get that connection. They get that communication. And their actions, their words, their behaviours will be their likes, their thumbs up, their little hearts. Because you'll just get it too. Isn't that nice? Anyway, I do hope you enjoyed this little musing of, I need approval before I do this. Well, you don't. You just do. I just need to put that bar at the level that is achievably, realistically, just within reach. Stretch for that share button. It's just there. I've gone there again. I'm sorry. Do enjoy every heartbeat. I'll remind you of all this stuff in a minute. And I'll also probably just pop in, a reminder of an old episode. Okay? So stay with me just for a few more minutes. Until next time, See you soon. Hear from me soon. Listen to me soon. Share. Oh, it's gone there again. So here's that old episode I was going to remind you about. It's hashtag 84 and it's called Flooding in the Right Way. What does that mean? Well, let me explain with the old intro, okay? Listen to this. If you love it or it makes you curious, go there, go back through the archives, hashtag 84. So what am I talking about today? Well, it's all about flooding fears, how to, if you're going to flood, do it properly in a way that is comfortable, easy, and it just makes sense. And it uses your own unique skill. And I'll explain about what that is, well, during the podcast. But I think you'll enjoy this. And there's a lovely procedure right at the end. Just to get over problems, create massive, brilliant outcomes for your life. Okay? So have a great listen. And yeah, I really hope you enjoy this. There you go, my friends. That was that intro from an old episode, and there's loads more for you to choose from. Just go back through the archives. I'll remind you of one or two every episode, but have a listen and do have a delve. There's loads of golden nuggets there. You'll really, really will find something new, especially if you've been listening to this just a little bit, because you'll know even more, so you'll get even more. Strange, it just works that way. Anyway, enjoy. And lastly, just before you go, as usual, would you kindly share this podcast? It will make and mean a great deal to me if you did. And if you do that now, that'd be awesome. Subscribe if you're listening to this, or whatever device you're listening to this and what app you're listening to, you'll find there's a subscribe button. If you could do that, that would be brilliant. If you can find a way to leave a little review on iTunes or the old Google Play or whatever it's called now, that would be absolutely awesome, because that will make a huge, huge difference to the popularity of this podcast and allow other people to learn at a deeper level, more people to make a difference in the world. That would be awesome too. And don't forget, there's free hypnosis at paulcloughonline.com/podcast. Go there, I'll repeat it again, paulcloughonline.com/podcast. That's where you get all my free hypnosis. There is a new one either just come out or coming out, so have a look there. And also remember, if you go to paulcloughonline.com, just that bit first, before the podcast, if you go there first, there's an opportunity to get a free hypnosis track to reduce your anxiety by at least 50%, and doing it in 15 minutes. That's got to be an awesome try, isn't it? Just have a play with all of that and enjoy.
Warning, you are now leaving the unplugged mind of Paul Clough. It's time to fly on your own. Be brave, my friend.
Personal Development Unplugged.